What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So we are going to rebuild two of these Milwaukee 12.0 batteries. So I bought these about 3 years ago for 150 bucks on Amazon. Not bad. And the other day I was ripping down PVC. These are for my table saw, my Milwaukee table saw. I use them for jackhammer, the vacuum, whatever needs like power, you know. But I was ripping down PVC, and anyone that's ripped down PVC before knows that it slides right through the saw, doesn't fight, doesn't take very much, and I was able to rip down 4 8-foot lengths of 1x4 PVC, and the battery died from fully charged. So yeah, it's time to rebuild them. And usually I wouldn't even bother, but I went to Amazon, I went to Home Depot, and they're going for $250 a piece right now. That's over $500 with tax. And I have successfully rebuilt a Milwaukee 3.0 battery, and I was actually able to upgrade it to a 5.0 battery just by upgrading the cells inside. And I still use that battery to this day. It works great. So if I've been able to do it with this, I think I can do it with these. So the only difference is that the regular Milwaukee batteries, the 5.0s, the 3.0s, these are 18650 battery cells, and you'll have to maybe open it up and make sure that you get the same ones or better. I forget what I used last time. But usually it's Samsung batteries. The 12.0s and all of the high output batteries use 21700 batteries. And I know, because I've already opened one, that these batteries inside are the Samsung 40T 21700 batteries. This is what they look like. So I actually think that you can buy all the tools necessary to do the job and buy the batteries that you need to rebuild them and still save yourself a few $100 at least. I'm gonna save a lot more because I already have these things, but yeah, let's do it. Let's see how much money we can save. Get some new batteries. Back in action. We'll rebuild them and test them, so let's do it. Alright, so first up, we've got to find everything. And I don't know how to put links in the description. I apologize. But if you can't handle, like, going and finding all of the pieces online and getting them shipped to your house, I do not recommend opening one of these batteries. Just saying. So this is where I get the batteries, 18650 battery store, because their shipping is fast. Like, I've had no problems. It's like 2 days. They're as fast as Amazon. And I'm in Massachusetts, Boston, so I don't know where they're located. I think they're far away, but fast shipping. These are the batteries that are in the Milwaukee 12.0 packs. These are the Samsung 40Ts. 21700 batteries. This is how they come. If you buy in small amounts, or if you get a lot, it comes in a big box. But I ordered 30 of these. So I paid, let's see. Yeah, I paid $6 each. So after shipping, I paid $190. So let's throw that $190 plus. Let's throw that on the tab. Now, for the batteries, and I don't know if this is a necessary step or not, but I do it because it makes sense to me. Because these batteries, when you get them, some of them are 30% charged, some of them are 40, some of them are 60, some of them are whatever. So if you put these in the battery pack, I know there is some balancing with the chip I don't know how well from right off rip. So I like to fully charge each individual battery with a charger that's meant to charge these batteries individually. And once they're all fully charged, then I install them in the pack, and then I let the chip do its thing. But I want them all same before they go in. So you're gonna need some sort of charger. And these things will not only charge, so it's not like a huge waste, because these will charge NiCad batteries. They'll charge any kind of battery that will snap into these. So any rechargeable batteries that you have that are the same form factor will slide into these drawers. It'll identify what kind of battery it is, and it will charge it. So these are good to have around the house, especially if you have like remotes and stuff like that, you know. And this is the one I have right here, but again, you don't have to pay for this. You get a 4-bay. It's going to take you a little while because, I mean, we have 15 batteries to charge. So, I mean, it's taken me 2 days so far. I had to charge up as many as I could, and then I put another row, and they're charging right now. So, let's see. You could go with a cheaper one, 20 bucks. There's even cheaper ones too, like 13 something, 14, 15 bucks. So, yeah, let's just call it 20 bucks. So, another 20 plus. And you are going to need a safety screwdriver set. They have the little holes in the middle and the weird type things. So I get these nice long ones because these are great for electronics and plastic housings when you have a screw that's deep in a hole, and sometimes you can't get it with the shorter ones. So you need the length. So this set right here, I got it right here on Amazon. And it's right here. There it is. It's not the best set in the world, I'm just gonna have to say. Like, they strip out pretty easy, but it's been working good so far. So let's say another 20 bucks. Plus 20 equals. And the last thing is a good soldering iron. So this is important. Do not cheap out on the soldering iron. You need a good soldering iron that gets hot fast and gets really freaking hot. So actually, I've seen two different ways. They actually sell little spot welders on Amazon, and they're about half the price. They're like, I've seen some mini spot welders for like 50, 60 bucks. But how often are you going to be spot welding? Don't you think a soldering iron would be more useful to just have kicking around the house? I do. And plus you can unsolder things and resolder things. So this is what I went with. This is the Heiko FX888D 23BY digital. This thing gets so freaking hot, and it gets hot instantly. This is a great soldering iron. So another 104. And then obviously you're gonna need a roll of solder, which is probably like $10. So you're at about $3.50, right? And that's, I mean, the only other thing you're really going to need is probably a piece of sandpaper or something, but I mean, I think everyone has a piece of sandpaper, and a lot of you might have some of this stuff already. I'm just saying, worst case scenario, if you don't have anything, this is all the stuff you need. And let's see, $3.50, you're rebuilding 2 batteries, and you're still pocketing 200 bucks in your pocket, and you just gained a whole bunch of tools that you didn't have before. Nice. And so now all we have to do is rebuild the batteries and get them to work, right? So let's do that. All right, now we got to strip this thing down. I'm just gonna do it here instead of dragging all the cameras out into the shop. So the first bit we're going to use is a T8. And take out all of these screws on the bottom. And the reason for the good soldering iron is because 21700, 18650 batteries, these lithium ion batteries, heat is their enemy. So if you're soldering, you need to get on there, get the solder melted, get it to stick, and get the hell off of it as fast as you can. You'll notice that's why a lot of times these things have heat sinks and temperature safeties. And I think 3 years is pretty good. I mean, I did take pretty good care. What is going on here? Don't tell me these are stripped out. Or it's this safety set that's like absolute garbo. Or am I using the wrong size? I don't know. Oh. Are they a different size? No, I was using the wrong size. Oops. This is a T10. My bad. My bad. That's probably why they stripped out. I'm using the wrong size. And also, I didn't do it in this case, but I would drain the battery. Get as much power out of this battery before you start disassembling. But I've done this before, so I'm just gonna go for it. But yeah, normally I would try to drain out all of the power, get it empty, and make sure you have an exit strategy, just in case. Have a window open, a door, something. Just have an exit plan, because these things can go nuclear very, very quickly. If you short something out, oh God, good luck. So just be prepared. Put all the screws in there, we don't lose them. All right. So here it is. So I already took one of these apart, so I'm gonna just let you know the differences that I've noticed so far. These smaller batteries, they have this plastic housing, and the batteries are pressed into this housing, so they are a nightmare to get out. You have to like put something and then like bang them out. It's a nightmare. But these 12.0 batteries actually have a couple of screws, and you can separate this housing and the batteries fall right out. Quite nice. So this is how they attach the batteries. This time they used these little spot welds. It's this little device, and it just puts an electrical current and it just kind of spot welds them. You can buy one of those, but like honestly, how many times are you gonna need a spot welder? I think the soldering iron is a better thing to have around the house. So what I do is I just take a flathead screwdriver, I'm sure everyone has one of these, and I get under these tabs carefully and I pry them and pop them loose. But first, we need a Sharpie, and I like to go around and mark positive and negative on these tabs. Now we start prying carefully, very carefully. You You want to try not to break these best you can. Just like that. So they come up pretty easy in these 12.0 packs, I noticed, because they put a sheet of plastic and then they spot welded through the plastic. On the 5.0 batteries, they do not pop as easily as the 12s. And I broke a few on the 5 the last time I did it. Alright, I've got them all popped free. And yes, some of the positive ones, you can see, some of them break a little bit. Yeah, like this bottom one right here. You can see it, the tab broke off a little bit. It's not really a huge deal. So I think you could probably get, you know, one rebuild out of a battery pack, and then after that, like, off to the hills it goes. Because, I mean, by then, I would imagine that the case, the battery case, is probably going to be, I mean, that's going to be at least 6 years of abuse. There'll probably be no grip left on it, so one rebuild is good for me. So now that we have all of those popped loose, I did have a few sparks fly, so just gotta be as careful as possible. There's some screws holding this board down to the plastic, so we gotta get that off now. Are these a... It's the same size, okay. Same T10. There's a screw there. And a screw there. So I try to separate the screws. You know, the ones in the bottom of this were the screws that held the case together. And then I'll put the other screws maybe in this. So I know these screws are for the internals. So there's also a huge heat sink that goes underneath. But there's a little sensor right here that's smushed into some goulash and this little piece of rubber, whatever. It's just a little probe. So I try to carefully dig out or just get all of that foam and goo off. Just looks like some silicone or something. I have silicone, everyone has silicone or some sort of goo we can stick in there. So now I'm going to carefully, there's these little plastic nubs that kind of hold these metal pieces in place. I'm just going to carefully pop them off on all sides. Make sure they're loose. Being extremely careful not to short anything or break anything. Okay, and now we should be able to wiggle this right off. Just being careful of this little sensor. it is. Oh, this one's got like... Wow, this one looks a lot different than the last one. This one's got goulash everywhere and has a J. Obviously J did this. I'm gonna take, yeah, see, there's the little, see that little guy there? There's the little sensor. It's like a heat sensor for the battery, so that if they get too hot, this thing will shut it down. I don't think the other one had all of this white goo everywhere. I want to go grab the other one real quick. So I was wrong. The other one does have all of this goo right there, this white stuff. The other one had a T. Not that that's important. This one has a J. The other one had a T. So we'll put this little spot. Look at the heat sink on that sucker, huh? Nice. Put that aside. And actually, I just noticed something. You do not have to mark positive and negative. Look at that. It's actually marked right on the plastic housing. See those? Positive, negative on every single bay. On both sides. It's labeled. So you don't have to mark them. Even better. I just cautiously take things apart. Couple more screws. I tried to take a mental note of if there was longer ones or shorter ones coming out of a certain area. These ones seem to be all the same size. And it seems like the only tip you really need is a safety T10. You don't really need the other ones. But it's nice to have them. If you have a soldering iron and you have the safety set, you can fix anything. Alright. This is the beautiful thing about these 12.0s. That you just wiggle this thing loose and the batteries fall right out. No fight. Love it. Absolutely love it. So now you just take all these little gems out. And you can see like some of the terminals didn't exactly come off. And you know, I would do the responsible thing and not throw these in your kitchen trash, because A, that could start a house fire, and B, that's really bad for the environment. But if you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, as soon as you walk in the front entrance door, they have a battery recycling bin there, and you can just dump these in there. And then they ship them out to China or wherever, and then they test them, and if there's a few good cells in the bunch, they take them and they put them in something else, and they'll sell them back to you. So when you're getting cheap stuff and you're like, oh my god, that's such a good deal, well, it could have a few of these batteries in it. That's why you're getting it cheaper. They're recycling some of these. Which, yeah, I get it. It's a good idea if, it's a good idea, I guess, but for longevity, it's probably not the best idea, but, yeah. Recycle them. Maybe they can recycle the lithium inside somehow. Maybe they've got that figured out. But you can see there's, like, this plastic stuff that's on here. So I just kind of get it off. I'm not going to be putting plastic back on. And now this is ready to go. It's a 0.0 right now without any cells, so we need to put some cells in here. But I need to, I have about, I don't know, 8 of them charged, and the rest of them are not charged yet. So as soon as they're charged, we will put these back in and start soldering it up, and then go give it a test and see how we did. So I'll see you in a minute. Alright, we'll fire up the soldering iron, and this soldering gun is unbelievable. Watch this. It's set for 800 degrees. Look how fast that climbs. That's insane. This thing gets hot fast. And I just have just a small chisel tip on there. Alright, so now we can carefully put this guy back on. Very carefully. Alright, so I knew something was up. This is the solder I used last time. Mutter. If it'll focus. It's 0.6 millimeter. Mutter. This stuff, it's a little thinner, but it seems to melt at a lower temperature. I don't know, it just seems to work a lot better. And the positive tabs are a lot easier than the negative tabs because it's like a floating, tab. Let's see if we can get this negative thing to go. I find it's all in how you lay the... And I started off with a very small buttons on the batteries. So if you put it, I notice if you put a huge button underneath, it's kind of hard to get it remelted. So I'm literally just a tiny bit, and I spread it around. Alright, we got it all soldered up. It's not the prettiest, and I remember now, I wanted to order a wider chisel tip for this soldering gun, and I never did, so I'm gonna do that like right now. because this is for like electronics, soldering on boards and stuff, and I'm sure it works great for that. But for this, like, I need a lot of heat and I need to get it into a spot. This is like precision, you know what I mean? Like, I need a broad area of heat. And also, I noticed some of the tabs were broken, right? Like, you can see these tabs here in the middle, how they're broken slightly from prying them. And then these ones are full length here. So the full length ones cover pretty much the entire button of the battery. So you're putting the soldering iron on top of these and trying to get the heat to go through these to the battery doesn't work that well, especially with this tip. So I noticed on the ones that were broken or just cut back slightly, I was able to get the soldering iron right on top of the battery and have like the point resting in between these tabs, and it was able to spread the heat evenly and fast, and I was able to melt solder almost immediately, especially on the positive side. Positive side is super easy to solder. The negative side, not that easy. And also, while I was soldering, I by accidentally touched, this across, and a little spark. So I got it all done. I started pushing this button, and I wasn't getting any lights, and I was like, uh-oh, did I blow it up? So I took my drill and carefully connected it, and I think the chip in here talked to this chip, and then all of a sudden, boom, now it's working again. So I don't know what all of that was about, but all right, we are soldered back up, and I'm definitely gonna get a new tip for that before I attempt the other one. Now we're gonna feed this back in the case. Am I going the right way? Yeah. Yeah, see, it's nice and tight on those sides. Oh, wait, sensor. We gotta put the goo on the sensor. So you can see the little hole. Or can you? Yep. Right there, right there. And you can see the little sensor in there. It's just touching the battery. I'm gonna take some of this here, Quad Max, and I'm gonna squeeze a bit back in there to hold it in place. Push it down. Look at that. It even matches the stuff that's in there. No one will ever know. Gotta put the cap on right. Alright, let's put it back together and give it a test run. So let's see, this battery is $250 at Home Depot and online. And where'd those screws go? Oh. And for the batteries that I just put inside, cost me about $90 after shipping. So I just saved myself a boatload of money on just this one battery. It's definitely worth having a couple extra tools in the house. god, these things are garbage. So maybe don't order those ones that I showed you, because yeah, they're shit. All right, let's lighten up. Oh yeah, dude. You hear the difference in power there? Oh yeah. These things pack a punch. Love these things. It's a little hot, so I'm gonna let it cool down. So just in case you're interested, I went to Amazon and typed in Heiko soldering tips, and sure enough, Heiko makes them. And they have a wide variety in a little case, and that's exactly what I needed. So I ordered those, and I ordered some more security tips for the drill. So I just saved myself $300 on 2 batteries. And I say 300 because I just spent 20. So it would have been $320 that I saved myself by rebuilding 2 of these batteries. And the other one, the 3.0 that I converted to a 5.0, I've been using that for about a year now. And I did the same exact thing I did right here. And it still works. So it does work. But yeah. Anyways, guys, that's it. That's how you rebuild a Milwaukee 12.0 battery and save yourself a boatload of money, and maybe get some tools that you didn't have. But yeah, that's it for this one, guys. Make sure you subscribe. I don't know where I put it. It's somewhere over here. Thumbs it up, and see you later.